Many thanks for joining us for television news. I am Richard Alechinwanyebe. The headlines. President Tinubu hails INEC, congratulates winners of by-elections across 12 states. National Emergency Management Agency launches search for over 40 missing persons in Sokoto boat mishap. Federal government deports foreign nationals convicted of cyber-terrorism, Ponzi scheme offenses. And on business, National Bureau of Statistics reports 21.88% decline in Nigerian inflation rate for July 2025. Now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated winners of the by-elections conducted on Saturday across 16 constituencies in 12 states, commending the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for what he described as hitch-free elections, mostly devoid of violence. In a statement issued on Sunday by his Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, the president hailed the conduct of the electoral body and called on political parties to embrace sportsmanship. President Tinubu, while congratulating the new APC national chairman on what he called an emphatic first victory under his leadership, thanks the electorate for their confidence in the All Progressives Congress (APC), assuring them that his administration's renewed hope agenda would deliver a better, more secure and prosperous Nigeria. Following the results declared by INEC, the All Progressives Congress (APC) won in 12 constituencies, the All Progressives Grand Alliance (APGA) won in 2, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) won in 1, and the New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) won in 1. President Tinubu applauded all political parties and candidates who took part in the polls, urging them to continue to be guided by the spirit of sportsmanship, fair contest, and magnanimity, which are enablers of enduring democracy. Now, President Bola Tinubu has reiterated the Nigerian government's commitment to producing world-class transportation students to build human capital in the transportation industry, especially the railway system. In a statement signed by Jibril Umar Al-Khali, Special Assistant Media and Publicity to the Minister of Transportation, said the president gave the assurance at the second matriculation ceremony of the Federal University of Transportation, Daura 2024-2025 academic session. President Tinubu, who was represented by the Minister of Transportation, Senator Said Al-Khali, noted that while the institution will address the dire need for a transport-focused education, training, and research-based, it will also produce Nigerian experts that will utilize policy, law, and industry practice to make the transport sector the pride of the Nigerian economy. He noted that the matriculation of 529 new students for the 2024-2025 academic session marks another milestone in its journey to becoming a leading institution for transportation education. The president also emphasized the government's commitment to driving towards building a new generation of transportation professionals who can compete globally, making the transport sector a critical driver of Nigeria's economy. President Tinubu told the new students to count themselves fortunate to study at Africa's first specialized University of Transportation, urging them to seize the opportunity, work hard, and become the pride of the university, their parents, and the nation. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, has said that the active participation of youth and women farmers in agriculture would fast-track development in the sector, increase production, revitalize agribusinesses, as well as achieve food and nutrition security. The minister said this during a working visit to the More Food and Spices, the food processing division of Jet Farms Agro Solutions Limited, an agribusiness enterprise owned and managed by the Nigerian youth farmers at Technology Incubation Hub, Lafia, Nasarawa State. He said the ministry would provide a strategic policy backbone for transforming agriculture into a tech-enabled youth and women-driven sector, promotes mechanization, digital agriculture, and research commercialization linkages, amongst others. The initiative, according to the minister, in a statement by his Assistant Director of Information of the Ministry, Mr. Ikiaja Ikemefuna, would ensure youth and women farmers have a conducive environment for agribusiness and maximize their potential in production, packaging, marketing, and distribution in the agricultural ecosystem. The minister revealed that in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda in agriculture sector, the ministry would continue to support jet farms and other emerging youth and women-led agri-business ventures across the country. In his welcome address, the team lead, Mr. Toby Olarenwaju, disclosed that the food processing arm of Jet Farms and Agro Solutions Limited was born out of one simple but urgent mission to stop the painful waste of farmers' harvest, to create dignified jobs for young people and women, and to take the bold flavors of Nigeria to tables across the world. The highlight of the working visit was the inspection of the company facility, which includes the raw materials store, processing room, and finished products section. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has said the Trans-Saharan Superhighway is conceived to boost regional integration and unlock economic opportunities across the sub-region. Idris stated this while leading a federal government delegation on the inspection of the ongoing work on the 118-kilometer Calabar-Ebonyi section of the Trans-Saharan Superhighway. He described the superhighway as one of the signature projects being implemented under the renewed hope agenda of President Tinubu. The minister said the construction of the 700-meter 12-span bridge on the superhighway would address decades-long flooding challenges in the Ndibe Beach and area and restore access for affected communities. He noted that for the first time, Ebonyi State is hosting multiple major federal government projects simultaneously, a testament to the administration's commitments to equitable development. He urged contractors to uphold quality and expedite delivery, assuring citizens that the government remains focused on infrastructure that tangibly improves lives and livelihoods across the country. The Trans-Saharan Superhighway is being constructed by the Infowest Nigeria Limited at the cost of 445 billion naira with a rigid concrete pavement connecting Calabar to Ebonyi, Benue, Nasarawa, and Abuja. The Federal Capital Territory Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board has commenced registration of intending pilgrims for the 2026 Hajj exercise. Director of the board, Alhaji Kadiri Eda, disclosed this at a meeting in Abuja, calling on residents who wish to participate to begin the process early. According to him, intending pilgrims are required to make a minimum deposit of 8.5 million naira, equivalent to about $5.667 thousand as part of the booking arrangement with the board. He explained that the payment must be made through a bank draft from any commercial bank payable to the FCT Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board, Abuja, before the deadline of December 2nd, 2025. The director further stated that applicants must submit the bank draft along with their international passports to board officials across the 6 area councils of the FCT. He stressed that the registration will be conducted strictly on a first-come, first-served basis and warned that cash payments will not be accepted. EDA also advised residents who deposited money with the board in previous years but could not perform the pilgrimage to declare their intention before the deadline in order to secure a seat for the 2026 exercise. He assured that the board has introduced new strategies aimed at improving services to registered pilgrims, while cautioning against dealings with unauthorized third parties. The director urged intending pilgrims to transact directly with the board. He reminded them that the official Hajj fare is determined by the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACOM, and warned against making any additional payments outside the approved package. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says rescue workers are searching for more than 40 people after a boat accident in Nigeria's northwestern state of Sokoto. The emergency agency said in a statement that about 10 persons have been rescued while more than 40 passengers remain missing. NEMA said it has deployed its response team to support ongoing rescue operations following a tragic boat mishap in Sokoto State on Sunday. The Director General of NEMA, Mrs. Zubeida Umar, activated the agency's response immediately after receiving reports that a boat conveying over 50 passengers to Goronyo Market had capsized. As of the time of this report, about 10 persons have been rescued, while more than 40 passengers remain missing. Umar said NEMA, in collaboration with local authorities, and emergency responders is intensifying search and rescue operations to locate the missing persons. The agency reassured the public of its commitment to saving lives, providing timely updates, and coordinating all necessary support for the affected families. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, says Nigeria has recorded 0 cases of piracy in the last 5 years. Vice Admiral Ogala disclosed these while speaking with newsmen during the passing out parade of the 2025 set of young sailors held at the Nigerian Navy School, Ikot Intwen, Akwa Ibom State, on Saturday. The Chief of Naval Staff, who spoke through the Chief of Administration, Nigerian Navy School, Rear Admiral Gabriel Aligwe, said several kinds of operations in the waterways have made Nigerian waterways very safe. He said for about 5 years now, Nigeria has recorded 0 cases of piracy, which tells the amount of efforts put in by the nation's armed men who constantly patrol the waterways. Vice Admiral Gola noted that the Navy has surveillance systems and at every point with Nigerian Navy's naval ships positioned at the sea to secure the nation's waterways. He therefore advised the graduating students to pursue their dreams and remain resilient, noting that the training they have received is to give them proper grounding for a bright and fulfilling military career. You are watching ASO Television News. Don't forget that you can watch us live on DSTV channel 392, StarTimes TV channel 127, and on Free TV, look us up on channel 507. On the UHA band, we are on channel 38. Now, still to come. National Bureau of Statistics reports 21.88% decline in Nigerian inflation rate for July 2025. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Let's get one thing straight. Being a woman with disabilities doesn't mean you don't have the right to quality sexual and reproductive health information and services. Family planning, maternity care, STI prevention. Every woman deserves access to safe, respectful, and inclusive reproductive health care. My body, my health, my reproductive rights. No limits, no exceptions. Your health matters. Your choices matters. Get informed, get care, and take charge of your future.
Glad to have you back. Now let's move ahead with the rest of the bulletin. Now, in a bid to spark creativity and inspire flair for agriculture and other agro-allied ventures, housemates of the head-to-head debate reality house show embarked on an excursion to Finada Integrated Farms. The visit, which was evidently an enriching experience, provided the housemates with valuable insight into innovative agricultural practices and sustainable farming methods. Daniel Obi tells us more.
What had initially seemed to be a journey to nowhere eventually turned out to be a tonic to an academically attuned mind as the housemate finally arrived at the Finanda Greenhouse in Tafa local government area of Niger State. During their visit, the housemates explored 2 key facilities. The greenhouse, where controlled environment agriculture and drip irrigation system were explained, and then the rice mill tour, where housemates were exposed to industrial scale production and value-added processing of rice. Receiving the housemates, the managing director of Finanda Integrated Farms, Mrs. Awa Phillips, expressed happiness on having the housemates on the property. She, however, went on to speak on her experience as a rice miller.
I'm sure you will be surprised to know that I was a government worker. I used to work in NNPC, and I had to resign because when I started this business, it was too much to be left in the hands of an individual. So I had to leave my job to come here and be part of this business, and there's no regret at all.
The reality house show coordinator, Prince Ifeanyi Carlo, teachers, and some of the participating housemates had these to say.
All these children were trying to introduce them to so many things. so that we have the choice of choosing what they want to be in future. Today we decided to bring them here for them to see how some of these things they consume, how they are being prepared. Perhaps at the end of the day, one of them might pick interest and say, I want to take this as a career.
Yes, because my students, they've learned about critical thinking. They've learned about AI and robotics, and they've been trained on how to respond to societal issues. So I think it will really affect their life positively.
Last year on was great, but this year's on was better. I had to admit it. It was better than last year's on. Last year on, I really enjoyed myself, made friends, but here too, I'm making friends. And I've been taught a lot of things I don't really know about.
I've learned how to mill rice, other byproducts of rice. We have also learned that there's nothing to waste in rice. We have learned how to mill oil, the product of oil, the different sections of milling of oil, different types of oil and their uses.
By exploring innovative agricultural practices and technologies, the head-to-head debate reality housemates gained distinctive knowledge into the potentials of agriculture to drive economic growth, improve food security, and promote sustainable developments in Nigeria. Daniel Obi, ASO Television News.
The Nigerian Immigration Service, in collaboration with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has begun the deportation of some of the foreign nationals recently convicted by the court following their arrest for cyber terrorism and Ponzi scheme offenses. 42 out of the 192 Chinese and Philippine nationals convicted by the Federal High Court Lagos were deported back to their home countries on Sunday. The first batch of deportees left Nigeria at about 2 p.m. local time. The deportees are part of a larger group of 759 persons arrested by the EFCC during a major raid on December 10, 2024 at Oyin Jolayemi Street, Victoria Island, Lagos. The commission confirmed that others earlier convicted by the court will depart Nigeria on Monday and on Tuesday respectively and will be airlifted back to their countries, as all the convicts have been handed over to the Nigerian Immigration Service for deportation. The syndicate had been operating a large-scale cyber fraud and Ponzi scheme before being rounded up in a joint operation. According to the EFCC, which prosecuted the cases, a total of 192 foreigners comprising Chinese and Philippine nationals were convicted in connection with the scam. Several of the charges included allegations of using fake identities online to defraud victims, training employees of Genting International Company Limited in fraudulent practices, and other offenses under the Advance Fee Fraud and Other Related Offenses Act 2006. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) has announced that Nigeria's headline inflation rate fell to 21.8% in July 2025 from the 22.2% in June 2025. The NBS, in its latest Consumer Price Index report released on, indicates that the index was calculated based on a new base year of 2024 following a recent rebasing exercise. It added that the CPI rose to 125.5% in July, representing a 2.5% increase from that of June. The Bureau explained that the decline in headline inflation was driven by slower increases in food and non-alcoholic beverages, restaurants and accommodation services, and transport, which contributed to 8.75%, 2.8% and 2.3% respectively to the July figure. The NBS also reported that urban inflation was 22.01% year-on-year and 1.8% month-on-month, while rural inflation was 21.08% year-on-year and 2.3% month-on-month. The report affirmed that Borno State recorded the highest year-on-year all items inflation at 34.5%, while Katsina State recorded the lowest inflation rate of 15.6%. As part of plans to overhaul Nigeria's infrastructure delivery processes through public-private partnerships, PPPs, the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission has issued a set of guidelines that will enhance the development and implementation of all PPP projects in Nigeria. A statement by the ICRC disclosed that the new framework released under the statutory powers conferred on the Commission by the ICRC Act 2005 and in compliance with presidential directive was formally unveiled during a high-level stakeholders engagement with representatives from all ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government directly involved in PPPs. The guidelines provide directions and requirements to set up the project approval board for the new approval thresholds of under 20 billion naira for ministries and under 10 billion naira for agencies and parastatals as approved by the president. While presenting the guidelines, the ICRC chief stressed that these rules establish a definitive framework for the conception, development, and execution of PPP projects in Nigeria. The decentralized project approvals to empower MDAs for faster delivery while safeguarding the ICRC's role as regulator of PPPs in the country. The ICRC chief explained that the new guidelines are in response to President Bola Tinubu's vision to liberalize the economy and in line with his charge to the ICRC to seek innovative ways to attract private sector finance to build infrastructure through PPPs. Mr. Lesfor added that every PPP project, regardless of sector, scale, or origin, must strictly comply with these provisions, noting that they shall be subjected to the Commission's due diligence and compliance requirements. He further re-emphasized the role of the ICRC as a regulator of the PPPs and not an operator of grantor of projects, and informed the participants that the Commission will continually facilitate and coordinate negotiations between MDAs and private proponents to ensure that the terms and conditions of agreement are fair to parties and implementable. According to him, the presidency's decision to delegate greater approval authority to MDAs with ICRC regulating the process also comes with heightened accountability and zero tolerance for non-compliance. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has extended his heartfelt condolences to the National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Professor Nantawe Yelwada, on the passing of his beloved mother, Mama Lydia Yelwada. In a condolence message, the minister described Mama Lydia's death as a profound loss, not only to her immediate family, but also to the wider Christian community and all who were touched by her life of faith, service, and sacrifice. He noted that Mama Lydia, together with her late husband, Reverend Toma Yelwada, played a pivotal role in strengthening the Church of Christ in nations, Kokin, across Borno, Yobe, Bauchi, and Plateau states, leaving behind a legacy of devotion to God and humanity. He said her wisdom and prayers will be deeply missed, especially at this period when it is most needed. The minister prayed for the peaceful repose of Mama Lydia's soul and urged the family to take comfort in the enduring impact of her good works. And we've come to the end of the bulletin, but before we go, let's remind you of one of our top stories again. We told you that President Bola Tinubu has hailed INEC, congratulated winners of Saturday's by-elections conducted across 16 constituencies in 12 states. I am Richard Alechinagibe. Many thanks for watching.